Hare Krishna. So, warm welcome to the devotees who have joined today and also for those who have joined online. So, we are continuing our discussion from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. And this is the chapter entitled Brahma Satisfies Lord Shiva. So, this is the name of the chapter, and it's the sixth chapter of fourth canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. And what we have been discussing till now, quick summary, is what is called Daksha prasang. It's one of the most famous pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam from fourth canto. Immediately after this, Dhruva Maharaj story starts. But before that, this has to be put to rest. This pastime we have been discussing. So it started, if you remember, from discussion between Maitreya and Vidura, where Vidura tells Maitreya, please tell me about the lineage of Swayambhavu Manu. And in that whole description of lineage, he says at one point that the 16 daughters of Daksha, all of whom had children like this, but Sati didn't have any children. So that's where the question comes, where Vidura asks Maitreya, how come ऐसा कैसा हो सकता है that Sati didn't have any children? She was married to Lord Shiva. So then he starts explaining the story how there was this big yajna that was organized by Daksha, and in that yajna, when he walks into the yajna sthali, at that time, all the people, everyone in the audience stands up because Daksha has come. He's such a effulgent and transcendental personality. Everyone, the moment they see him, everyone stands up in respect, except two people. Everyone in the audience. Okay, all big devatas are there. Devatas, devis are there. So many rishis are there. All have come for that yajna, big event. Now, only two people who don't stand, Brahma and Lord Shiva. Brahma is his father, so obviously he's not offended by that. But Shiva, Lord Shiva is his son-in-law because Sati is his daughter and she is married to Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna. So she's married to Lord Shiva. So he gets extremely offended. He gets extremely offended. He takes it as on his ego that how come he didn't stand up, and he starts first building up the story. He starts saying that how I don't mean मेरे mind में कोई ईर्ष्या नहीं है. I have no envy, no anger in my heart. I am only telling so that all the gentlemen sitting here should know what is the correct etiquette. कैसा behave करना चाहिए. लोगों को समझ में कैसे आएगा जब तक मैं नहीं बताऊं. You see, most people who like to criticize, they first create a ambience like this. एक picture create करते हैं. So this is what he does. And then he starts criticizing Lord Shiva left, right, and center. All kinds of nonsense he speaks about Lord Shiva and criticizes him so much. And finally, in his anger, he just walks out of the sacrifice. मतलब वो खत्म भी नहीं करते. All the people are telling him, don't go, but he still goes. So then he has cursed Shiva before going that even जो यज्ञ का जो आपके लिए जो oblation होता है वो आपको मिलेगा नहीं. You will not get it. So he curses him and goes. And then Nandi starts, who is the carrier of Lord Shiva, he starts cursing, counter cursing. And then finally, Lord Shiva gets disgusted and he walks away from that place. So everyone leaves with him. Then after some time, what happens is his daughter Sati, Daksha's daughter Sati and the wife of Lord Shiva, she sees that Daksha is conducting another yajna. One more yajna is being organized. And this time she sees so many, all the demigods are all going on their celestial vehicles. They're all going in the sky. She sees them nicely dressed and everything. So, like the nature of a woman, if she sees other women nicely dressed, if you think, even I want to dress nicely. They are going for this event, even I want to go for this event. So she does three hut, and she starts telling Lord Shiva that, I want to go here. I want to go. And she gives many logical reasons why she should be allowed to go. Despite the fact that, her husband has been insulted by her own father in a public assembly in front of all of them. Still she gives lot of logic, a very logical reason she gives that it's okay, मतलब मैं तो बेटी हूँ, बेटी का क्या है? And she finally said, you don't want to come, at least let me go. I'll go. And then Lord Shiva gives her also very logical explanation. एक एक उनका पॉइंट का काउंटर पॉइंट देते कि why you should not go. This is not good for you. It will not end well. Please don't go. But then Sati उसने स्त्री हट पकड़ लिया तो पकड़ लिया. She decides कि no, I have to go. So she decides to go. And when she decides to go, along with her, all Nandi and all these people go along with her. All the Ganas, all of them go along with her. But Lord Shiva doesn't go. He knows what's going to happen, so he doesn't go. He knows that this is not going to end well. See, like these great personalities, they are Trikaldarshi. They know past, present, and future. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, na, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani natu, about that, naham vedu kaschana. Anyway, I forgot the last line. So he says that I know past, present, and future. So Lord Shiva is incarnation of Lord Krishna only. So he is Lord Vishnu only. So he also knows past, present, and future. He knows what's going to happen. So he says, don't go, please don't go. Listen, she goes. She goes, and after she goes to that place over there, she sees that her mother and sister, they welcome her with lot of love. They cry when they see her because they not seen her for a long time. So जब जाती है तो बड़े प्रेम से उसको वो लोग accept करते हैं, and they bathe her with their tears of love. But her father completely ignores her. Not only that, she sees that all the other people in the yajna, they have also been instructed by Daksha कि कोई सती को acknowledge भी मत करो कि वो आई है. I don't want her to even be acknowledged by anybody. So this way, none of them even look in her direction. No one acknowledges her, and she is hurt. Obviously, that her father is ignoring her like this. She is hurt by that, but she is more upset by the fact that her her glorious husband, Lord Shiva, who has no enemies in this world, she sees that her husband is being insulted, that unke naam se oblation bhi nahi ja raha. There's nothing kept aside for him. So when she sees this, it's too much for her to tolerate. Thank you. It is too much for her to tolerate, and she says, after giving choicest of galis, not galis exactly, but she says all kinds of things about her father. That what kind of nonsense person you are. How you could have done something like this? A person who has no enemies, you have taken enmity with that person. And she says, because this body has come from you, I don't want to have this body. I'm giving up this body. So even when she says this, I'm leaving my body, Daksha doesn't say anything. Like, imagine what is the nature of ego. When somebody has an ego, very huge, bigger we are, bigger the ego is. Very small people, very insignificant people, then we don't have much ego. यार मेरा कौन सुनता है? वैसे भी मेरा कोई सुनता नहीं. So like no ego. But someone who is very powerful, very beautiful, very knowledgeable, very wealthy, they tend to have an ego. They feel कि I am so great. So ego is such a nasty thing that even when you know something is right, you're not able to do it. Even when you know something is wrong, your ego forces you to do it. So this is what happens. He doesn't stop her. So when she, from her yogic siddhis, from her inside her body, she generates a fire and whole body, burns in front of everybody. So big cry goes up and everyone says, hey, what is this? This is horrible, horrible. And at that time, all the ganas who are there, they immediately decide, if Sati has been killed, what are we going to go and tell Lord Shiva? किस मुंह से जाएंगे उनके सामने? So हम लोग जो है, let us give up our lives, but we will kill Daksha and come. At least एक खुशखबरी तो देखेंगे कि दक्ष को तो मार दिया हम लोग. So they immediately attack, but immediately what does this Bhrigu Muni, he immediately creates, through the yajna, he creates some ribus, like demigods with a lot of powers. They come and attack these people and they're forced to withdraw. And then we come to what we discussed last time, that they all go back to Lord Shiva, Hatash Hokeki, and they give the news that this is what has happened. And Narad Muni has already given the news that this has happened. Your wife Sati has left her body. So when Lord Shiva hears this, he's obviously very upset, right? I mean, anyone would be upset that their wife is dead. Even if you don't love your wife, still there is an attachment. Attachment is there. So imagine Lord Shiva has so much affection for Sati. When he hears this, he is extremely angry. He becomes very angry. So from his jata, he takes out one hair and he creates this demon Virabhadra. Virabhadra. So Virabhadra is such a powerful, horrible, ghastly looking demon. He asks him that, Master, what should I do? So he gives him the instructions. Please destroy the yajna and kill Daksha. So they go. So when all the uh, Ganas and Virabhadra, they go. First of all, when they're going there, they see that everything has become very dark. No? So the wife of Daksha, Prasuti, she predicts that because you have offended a great personality, now this reaction is coming. So like this, they go, they destroy the entire yajna, they सब खराब करते हैं. See, he's a Rakshasa. वीरभद्र इज राक्षस. अभी राक्षस को क्रिएट किया तो राक्षस क्या करेगा? उसका तो वही काम है कि जहां यज्ञ हो रहा है सब कुछ तहस नहस कर दो. He destroys everything. He goes and chases all the people who are running away, beats them. All the ganas come together. He kills, beheads Daksha. Bhrigu, he removes his mustache. He breaks the teeth of Kusha. So it's like a very ghastly, horrible scene. And after finishing everything, he throws Daksha's head into the yajna and he goes. This is where we ended last time. Okay. So it's a very, very, like a climax जैसा हो गया ये story का कि the भयानक, विभत्स, that kind of a fearful kind of thing has happened. Where did it all start from? It started from the ego of Daksha and the offense that he created towards a great personality like Lord Shiva. Right? So now, after this is over, all the priests who were there in that yajna, who all ran for their lives, the ones who survived, okay, and the demigods, beaten, bruised, injured, मार खा खा के मतलब सब भागे वहां से, they all go running to Lord Brahma. They go to Lord Brahma and they approach him that, this is what has happened. So now in the next verse, in the third verse, it is described that Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, both of them didn't attend the yajna as they also knew what is going to happen. So you see, this yajna, everyone is there, right? मतलब बोलते हैं ना, who's who. ऐसा अंबानी का शादी में सारे के सारे सब लोग गए. All the big industrialists, all the big cricketers, all the film stars, everyone is there. If you are not there, then मतलब तुम नहीं थे, मतलब एक कचरा जैसा आता है. सब लोग गए. Everyone has gone for that, yajna. But Lord Brahma didn't go. Previous yajna was there. Previous yajna was there, but this yajna he didn't turn up. He didn't land up there. Why? Because even they know what a nasty thing is going to happen now. So they choose not to be there because then they'll be forced to take sides. See, sometimes no diplomacy is in like what is happening right now. India, in the US and Iran Israel war, India has not taken side with anybody. Neither it is siding with Israel, which is a good friend. Neither it is siding with US, which is also supposed to be good friend. Neither it is siding with Iran, which is a decent friend. तो किसी के साथ भी साइड नहीं लिया है, because साइड लिया ना तो तुरंत, like we discussed last time, many of the people who were there when a big fight is going on between two powerful personalities, it is best that there should not be bystanders. मतलब जो ऐसे तमाशा, इंडियंस का एक आदत है ना कि कोई झगड़ा हो गया तो सब लोग जमा हो जाते देखने के लिए, यार फ्री में झगड़ा देखने को मिल रहा है, चलो यार खड़े हो जाते हैं सब. ऐसा ब्रिज के ऊपर ट्रैफिक स्लो डाउन हो जाता है, people slow down their cars to see कि क्या चल रहा है. But it is always advisable that when such a thing is going on ना, रुको मत वहां पे, because if you are seen to take sides with anybody, the one who wins the fight, he will remember तू उसके साइड था, तू हंस रहा था. जब मैं मार खा रहा था तभी तू हंस रहा था, अब मैं तेरे को दिखाता हूँ. This is the nature of material world. So Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't see, while Srimad Bhagavatam talks about topics which are transcendental to material world, but it first shows us the nature of the material world so that you know what is transcendental. You see the behavior of Lord Shiva subsequently, it shows that how he is transcendental. Though he may have sent Virabhadra, but he has not got involved. We'll come to that now. We'll see how Lord Shiva shows beautiful behavior and his behavior doesn't change. So yeah, so even if some people are fighting like this, two people are fighting, we should not use it as an excuse. We should not use it as an excuse for anything. Okay, so like this, they approach Lord Brahma, and Brahmaji explains to them that please understand that happiness flees, means happiness runs away from those who offend and blaspheme great personalities. If you offend or blaspheme, blaspheme means अपने शब्दों से, अपने एक्शन से आपने किसी महान पर्सनालिटी को आपने ऑफेंड किया, you said something nasty about them. You may feel that right now he is not in a very powerful position, so it's okay, I may say. You know, I do sales training as a profession. उसमें हम लोग ये क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं एक्चुअली कि अगर आप कस्टमर में जा रहे हो, you're going to a customer and you see two people, 4-5 people whom you are interacting with to sell whatever you are selling, उसमें आप देखते हो एक कोई व्यक्ति है, सडनली वो साइडलाइन हो जाता है कंपनी में, उस क्लाइंट के कंपनी में वो साइडलाइन हो जाता है, एंड आप उसके साथ काफी इंटरेक्शन कर रहे हो. अभी उसके साइडलाइन होने के बाद व्हाट शुड यू डू? शुड यू कंटिन्यू टू इंटरेक्ट विद हिम? अभी कंपनी में कोई उसको थूकता भी नहीं है, तो मैं क्यों अपना टाइम वेस्ट करूं? So I always tell them no. Even if that person has been sidelined, you may reduce your contact, but don't eliminate, don't remove it, because you never know how that person will react. Tomorrow he will again become powerful. पहले तुमको बाहर निकालेगा. You know, so that is kootaniti, that is diplomacy. But over here we see from a spiritual perspective also that if some great personality is being criticized, if we are part of it, we listen to it, sympathetically listen to it. कि हाँ बरोबर बोला, बरोबर बोला. Even if we see some of the people, they didn't even do anything. तो कुछ किया ही नहीं. ऐसे नहीं कि उन्होंने कुछ किया. They were just sitting and quietly enjoying the show. That's it. उनको भी मार पड़ी. They were also beaten black and blue. Why? Because they were just listening when this criticism was happening. That's why as aspiring Vaishnavas, we should understand it's not that just I don't blaspheme anyone. किसी को criticize नहीं कर. Very careful, Baba. But if somebody else is criticizing, I enjoy it. You just sit quiet. You don't correct that person. See, it is described that if you hear blasphemy of a Vaishnava, we have various options. You know, last time we discussed, if you remember, long back, we discussed that if some great Vaishnava is being blasphemed, one, we should cut the tongue of the person. If you are a Kshatriya, you should cut the tongue of that person. Well, how dare you? You should cut his tongue. If you are a Brahmana and you have heard, you know, you should close your ears like this, say Vishnu, Vishnu, and you should run away from the spot. And if you are below Brahmana Kshatriya and you have heard, then you somehow kill that person and then you kill yourself also. Because I don't want this body. Like Sati, of course, this is not practically possible in today's day and age, but the principle is very important. The principle is what? That ये आपको सुनना भी नहीं चाहिए. अगर कोई ब्लास्फेम कर रहा है, अगर आप सुन रहे हो तो ये शरीर अभी दूषित हो गया. This body has become contaminated by hearing this horrible thing that I just heard. Sati is saying that I don't want this body to get connected with this Daksha. You know, like that. So he says, Brahmaji tells the Devatas, he tells them that because because you all have offended Lord Shiva, a great personality like Lord Shiva, maybe you all didn't say anything. It was all Daksha who spoke all the negative things. But because you all were sympathetically listening, You know, you all kept quiet, or you were enjoying it. Some of you were smiling, some of you were, you know, nodding. सही तो बोल रहा है दक्षा, correct तो बोल रहा है, इसमें क्या गलती है? Because you did that, that's why you are offended. So he then reminds them. He think of, you can close the door, bro. Close the door. Okay, that's all. So you know, he says, think of whom you have offended. मतलब it's not to say that कोई ऐसा ऐसा एकदम कच्चा नींबू वैष्णव है तो उसको ऑफेंड कर सकते हैं, नहीं. इट इज द सेम इन द आईज ऑफ द लॉर्ड. बट उसमें भी वैष्णवानाम यथा शंभु, इट इज सेड द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ ऑल वैष्णवास इज लॉर्ड शिव. Now you have gone and offended that person who is so powerful, materially speaking also, he is so powerful, he can by his anger destroy all the planets and their controllers. मतलब when he does the tandav, then everything gets destroyed. That person, उसके साथ पंगा लिया आपने, मतलब उनको बता रहे हैं. And also he is right now grieving for his lost wife. He lost his wife, Sati, dear wife, young girl, you know, he has lost his wife. So obviously he is very hurt by that. He is also afflicted by the harsh words of Daksha. But Lord Brahma, so now they must be very worried, right? And we should be. See, if we have been very casual in our dealings with devotees, we've been very casual. Doesn't matter. See, it is like this, that doesn't matter सामने वाले ने क्या किया, हमें वो नहीं करना चाहिए. You know, it is like कि वो तो अग्नि है, उसने मुझे जलाया. हाँ, तो that doesn't mean मैं उस अग्नि में हाथ डालूंगा. You know, I should not. I should understand that that person has made mistake, and that person will suffer for his or her mistake. That will happen. I don't wish that they suffer. I don't have that mindset that I wish that this devotee suffers because of what he has done to me. No, the devotee doesn't think like that. But that will happen anyway. So because somebody has blasphemed me, I should not blaspheme back. You know, like that. So Brahma tells the Devatas that while this has happened, don't be worried. Don't be worried, because as easily as he gets angry, he is pleased also very easily. बहुत जल्दी से वो खुश हो जाते हैं. इनका नाम क्या है? Ashutosh. Ashu means quickly. Ashu means quickly, and Tosh means Santosh, happy. Very quickly, Lord Shiva is pleased. That is why those who want some benedictions, they don't go to Krishna, they go to Lord Shiva, because जल्दी वो 16 सोमवार करने से पति अच्छा मिल जाता है, ऐसा कुछ कुछ है. And it is a fact. ये फैक्ट अभी भी लोग करते हैं. Even now, I mean, ये कलयुग में जो अपना फुल फोर्स में कलयुग चल रहा है, but even in कलयुगा, even now, people follow this. शिव जी का अभी भी करते हैं. You know, you can see, I last year my birthday had come on Shivratri. I mentioned this, I think. शिवरात्रि के दिन ऐसा लाइन रहता है बाबुलनाथ के सामने. मतलब लाइन गोज अप टू, मतलब वो पेडर रोड तक लाइन जाता है. अपना जन्माष्टमी में कभी इतना लाइन नहीं होता है. यू विल नेवर सी सो मच लाइन फॉर जन्माष्टमी, बट शिव जी का बहुत लाइन रहता है, राइट? बिकॉज ही इज इजीली प्लीज्ड. ही doesn't take long time to get happy. He's done very good, like that. So he says he'll be equally pleased if you surrender to his lotus feet and beg his pardon. So therefore Brahma ji says, chalo Kailash. सब कैलाश जाते हैं, right? You know, over here the acharyas are explaining that how horrible and destructive are the effects of blaspheming a Vaishnava. What is the horrible and destructive effect? We have seen already, you know, what has happened. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the story, which is the whole, you know, like a biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he compares offenses to a Vaishnava to a mad elephant. Hati Matta calls it. This is a mad elephant. Now you imagine, आपने अगर एक बड़े प्रेम से एक छोटा सा गार्डन बनाया, you know, some of you who stay in HPCL, BPCL, Tata Power, RCF, आप लोग मतलब एक तरह से एक स्वर्ग में ही रहते हैं. It's like a heavenly planet where you have a house, हाउस के बाहर छोटा सा गार्डन है, बाहर बड़ा गार्डन है, इतना सुंदर। तो आप सोचो एक छोटा सा गार्डन में आपने छोटे छोटे प्लांट्स, ऐसे क्रीपर्स, कहीं पालक डाल दिया, कहीं टमाटर डाल दिया, कहीं भिंडी डाल दिए, अच्छे अच्छे प्लांट्स डाले हैं। एंड बड़े प्रेम से कोई बच्चा नहीं, उधर कुछ नहीं डाला, ये प्लांट अभी डाला है, वो बड़ी कोमल है, कोई मत डालना। ऐसा बड़े प्रेम से आपने उसको वहां पे उगा रहे आप उसको। और अचानक वहां पे एक मैड एलिफेंट आ जाता है। वो मैड एलिफेंट का मतलब ही है कि उसको कंट्रोल नहीं किया जा सकता। एंड इफ अ एलिफेंट इज नॉट मैड, नॉर्मल महोत जो रहता है सर के ऊपर, महोत इतना सा रहता है और हाथी इतना बड़ा है, फिर भी वो महोत उसको कंट्रोल करता है। लेकिन पागल हाथी को कोई कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता, जो हाथी पागल हो गया। तो आके उस गार्डन में सब ऐसा जो आपने प्रेम से किया है उसको उखाड़ के, उसको रोंद के चला जाता है और आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते। So he says that offending Vaishnavas is like that. So be very careful. So Jiva Goswami, one of our acharyas, he says that there are many bad effects of committing offenses to Vaishnavas, but he gives five. पांच देते हैं. He says five obstacles to pure bhakti that result from offenses. अगर आपको प्योर भक्ति करने हैं और आपने ऑफेंस किया, वैष्णव अपराध किया, तो क्या होता है? पांच ऑब्स्टेकल आपके भक्ति में खड़े हो जाते हैं। ऑब्स्टेकल यानी रोध, क्या? अवरोध नहीं, पथ रोधक, मतलब जो रोकता है रास्ता, आपका भक्ति का रास्ता रोकता है। तो इसे फर्स्ट इज क्रूकेडनेस, यू बिकम क्रूकेड। मतलब वैष्णव होके यू शुड नॉट बी क्रूकेड, नो, यू शुड बी वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड। जो हृदय में है वही बात मुंह पे है, वही बात अपने एक्शंस में, ऐसा एक कंसिस्टेंट होना चाहिए। बट यू बिकम क्रूकेड because you offend Vaishnavas, you become crooked. So he gives the example of Jiva Goswami, gives the example of Duryodhan. You see, Duryodhan, because he offended the Pandavas, who are great Vaishnavas, what happened? He was crooked. So even when Krishna came to Hastinapur, instead of जब कृष्ण भगवान हस्तिनापुर आए, instead of approaching him कि तो भगवान आए हैं, let me, he approached him with a crooked mind. क्या? कि इनको कैसे भी करके अपने साइड पे लेते, इनको अच्छा 56 भोग खिलाएंगे और फिर अपने साइड पे ले लेंगे, पांडव ऐसे ही हार जाएंगे, तो लड़ने का भी जरूरत नहीं, कृष्णा इज ऑन से, सो ही वाज अप्रोचिंग विद क्रूकेडनेस। सो कृष्णा डिडंट इवन ईट एट हिज प्लेस। दुर्योधन का भोग न खायो, सूखा सूखा शाक विदुरधर पायो, ऐसे प्रेम पुजारी राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। सो कृष्णा डजंट इवन, ऐसा ऐसा बाजू से निकल जाते, देखते भी नहीं है कि आपने क्या 56 भोग लाए, बिकॉज ही इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन योर 56 भोग। is what is that say, bhavagrahi janardhan, bhavagrahi. He is accepting our bhava, he is accepting with what consciousness we are offering, whatever we are offering, that is what Krishna is accepting. He says crookedness is one of the obstacles that comes. Second, faithlessness. Your faith, what is the starting point of bhakti? Adho adho shraddha. First step, पहला कदम, नर्सरी क्लास इज श्रद्धा, फेथ। वो फेथ ही उड़ जाता है, प्रोसेस से ही फेथ उड़, यू लूज फेथ इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ भक्ति, यू नो लॉन्गर फील लाइक परफॉर्मिंग भक्ति। थर्ड, अटैचमेंट टू थिंग्स दैट डिस्ट्रॉय फेथ इन द लॉर्ड। सो एक तो फेथ उड़ गया, नाउ यू गेट अटैच टू दोस थिंग्स दैट फर्दर डिस्ट्रॉय योर फेथ। मतलब वापस वो जो दब गया आपका फेथ, वो वापस उग भी नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि ऐसे चीजों में आपको अभी आसक्ति हो जाती है। Get attached to those things that destroy our faith in the Lord. Fourth, slackness in bhakti. Our bhakti starts becoming slack. Slack meaning what? Dhila. Bhakti is not meant to be dhila. Bhakti is meant to be always kadak. कड़क होना चाहिए भक्ति, कड़क रहेगा तो भक्ति में प्रोग्रेस करते हैं। The more, see, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj had got a very beautiful thing. He had said, it is easier to be strict in Krishna consciousness than to be slack. जरा ध्यान से सुनो, it is easier to be strict in Krishna consciousness than to be slack, मतलब ढीला। मतलब ये क्या बात है, कैसा पॉसिबल है? कि स्ट्रिक्ट रहना तो हमेशा कठिन होना चाहिए. इट शुड बी मोर डिफिकल्ट टू बी स्ट्रिक्ट. हाउ यू आर सेइंग इट इज मोर डिफिकल्ट व्हेन यू आर स्लैक? Because if we are strict with ourselves, see, mostly we are strict with others, as parents, as leaders, we are strict, very strict with others. प्रभु जी, 16 माला करके आए ना? हाँ, नहीं किया, बड़े स्ट्रिक्ट है. खुद का 16 माला हुआ नहीं है, दूसरों पे बड़े स्ट्रिक्ट. we are very strict with others, but with ourselves we are very compassionate. नहीं नहीं नहीं, you don't understand. प्रभु, मेरा बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज था, मेरा बहुत सेवा था, मेरे को ये करना था, वो करना. ये बड़े बड़े बहाने बनाते. We are strict with others, not strict with ourselves. But actually, we should be strict with ourselves. If we are strict with ourselves, कि रोज सुबह उठना है, उठ के अपना 16 माला जपा करना है. ये आपने कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज अलाउ ही नहीं किया कि सुबह उठना है, जप माला उठाना है और बैठ के जपा करना है. हो जाता है 16 माला, आराम से हो जाता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. आई थिंक टुडे और यस्टरडे, आई थिंक टुडे ओनली, दिस जनानंद स्वामी महाराज सेड ना दैट if you are said it, इसके लेक्चर में याद नहीं है, बट someone said just yesterday सत्यानंद प्रभु से, सत्यानंद प्रभु ने कल बताया कि अगर आप जपा करते हो, टाइम एक्सपैंड्स, कृष्णा गिव्स यू मोर टाइम ड्यूरिंग द डे. आपको दिन में और समय मिल जाता है. इट्स ट्रांसेंडेंटल, समय हो जाता है. आपने डिसाइड किया 16 माला करना है ना, तो आपको टाइम मिल जाएगा. अरे 16 माला कैसा होएगा, 1.5-2 घंटा लगता है, कैसे पॉसिबल है? एवरीथिंग इज पॉसिबल. वंस यू स्टार्ट यू विल सी, ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. वेरी कंफर्टेबली यू पुट योर हैंड इन योर beads, you can sit, finish in 1 hour 45 minutes and get up. कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. But Maharaj said that if by any reason, किसी भी कारण से आपका एक दिन जपा हुआ ही नहीं, you didn't chant, next day morning when you pick up the bead bag, वो बहुत भारी लगने लगता है. And Maharaj said, please don't try this. Well, no, don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. But he said, if you are not able to chant for any reason, next day when you pick up the bead bag heavy लगता है. Somehow नहीं होता. Your body now has got. नहीं देखो, एक दिन तो हो गया ना. Like his case Yugavtar Prabhu had once told, very nice. He says that sometimes we feel कि अरे मैं तो आए दिन डिवोटिस को ब्लास्टिंग करते रहता हूँ. देखो अभी भी कंठी माला है, ये देखो तिलक है, हाथ में बीड बैग है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? ऐसा ना एक दिन ना सडनली जो गाड़ी से आपका पेट्रोल, कार्बोरेटर, टायर वायर सब गायब, एक दिन में सब गायब हो जाएगा. एंड यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू एनीथिंग आफ्टर. So we should not ever become overconfident. So Maharaj said, be strict is easy. The moment you become lax, मतलब आप भक्ति में ढीले हो गए, ढीला, उसके बाद भक्ति करना बड़ा कठिन है. आपने एक बार माइंड में डिसाइड कर लिया, क्या हो गया अगर हम सत्संग में नहीं आए? क्या हो गया? कितनी बार मैंने गुठली मारा है, फिर भी देखो मैं बकायदा हूं भक्ति में, कुछ नहीं हुआ मेरे को. But you realize that every time we skip, our mind is telling us, देखो कुछ नहीं हुआ. ऐसे ये लोग फालतू का प्रेशर डालते हैं कि रेगुलरली सत्संग में आओ, रेगुलरली हरि कथा सुनो. फालतू का प्रेशर, कुछ है ही नहीं. Your mind will convince you. Then next time again you will not. Next time again you will not. Your mind will keep telling you, कुछ नहीं हुआ, अभी भी जपा के कर दो आप. So you have to be very, very careful. Maharaj said, easier to be strict than to be lax in bhakti. If you are serious about bhakti, be strict. If you're not serious, then तो anyway क्या, there's no discussion like that. So yeah, so slackness in bhakti. First was crookedness, second faithlessness, third is attachment to things that destroy faith, fourth is slackness, and fifth is like the icing on the cake. मतलब आपने ऑफेंस किया, आपको फल स्वरूप में क्या मिल रहा है? आइसिंग ऑन द केक, प्राइड इन बीइंग डिवोशनली एडवांस्ड. मतलब अभी आप अंदर से पूरे पूरे खोखले हो चुके हो बिकॉज ऑफ योर ऑफेंसेस. योर फेथ इज डिस्ट्रॉयड. You have become crooked. You are attached to things that destroy faith. You have become slack in bhakti, but still you are proud. आपको एक प्राइड आ जाता है कि बहुत सीनियर हो, पता है पैदा कभी हुए थे, इससे पहले से मैं भक्ति कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, समझ में आई बात? मतलब वी बिकम प्राउड. And that is like the finest, like it is said, Krishna can tolerate any of your anarthas. Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, envy, illusion, सब illusion में तो हम लोग लगे ही रहते हैं, पूरा दिन हम लोग illusion में ही रहते हैं. You know, he can tolerate everything, but Krishna cannot tolerate the pride of his devotees. He simply cannot tolerate. He will crush us. So therefore, as our Goswamis have explained to us, we should not engage in this at all. It is too dangerous. We see in the story, there's a story in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when after he took sannyas from Puri, once he went to Kulya, which is quite close to Navadvip. So he went there. So when he goes there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is approached by one Brahman. And Brahmana comes and holds his feet. पैर पकड़ लेते हैं. And he starts crying. He holds the feet of the Lord and starts crying. He says, "My Lord, I was unaware of the glories of bhakti. I was not aware that bhakti is such a glorious thing. And in my foolishness, thinking that कौन वैष्णव है, कोई है ही नहीं वैष्णव. In my foolishness, I blasphemed so many Vaishnavas. And now he says, moment after seeing you, my Lord, after seeing your devotees, now I realize what a blunder I have made. He says, moment after moment, my heart burns with grief. So please tell me, my Lord, how I can be delivered from this sin that I have committed. I have blasphemed many Vaishnavas. बहुत सारे वैष्णव मैंने बुरा भला कहा है, तो मैं क्या करूं? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Lord Chaitanya says, very beautiful analogy he gives. Okay, he says that if one drinks poison, knowingly, unknowingly, if somebody drinks poison, okay, but immediately after that he drinks nectar, amrit, what will happen? जो नेक्टर है उस पॉइजन को तोड़ देगा, उस पॉइजन को विदर अवे कर देगा, मतलब उसको चूर चूर कर देगा. दैट पॉइजन विल नॉट एक्ट ऑन द बॉडी बिकॉज अमृत इज स्ट्रॉन्गर देन द पॉइजन. सो ही सेड, unknowingly you blasphemed Vaishnavas and you have drunk poison. आपने एक हो रहा है. हरे कृष्णा. He says, unknowingly you blasphemed the Vaishnavas and you drank. Hare Krishna. या तो आप उस तरफ थोड़ा. Okay. That's it. Okay. So he says, unknowingly you blasphemed Vaishnavas and drank poison. He says, now with that same mouth with which you blasphemed the Vaishnavas, he says, you should drink the nectar of Krishna's name and qualities. You drink the nectar of the names, the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He says you chant the holy names, the nectar of the holy names, and the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his qualities. You from that same mouth which you blaspheme, you take this nectar now. Holy name and the Lord's pastimes and qualities. He said that same mouth that once blasphemed Vaishnavas should now sing their praises. आपने जिस वैष्णवास को ब्लास्फेम किया, you please now praise them, find good qualities in them and say something positive about them. So he says that you do any amount of Vedic rituals, it will not help you. आप जो तपस्या करना है, अटोनमेंट के लिए, पेनेंस जो करना है कर लो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. The only way you can atone for this is the same Vaishnavas whom you criticize, now you praise them. We see this in the recent times also. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the guru of Srila Prabhupada. When he was approached by his disciples, two disciples were fighting amongst themselves. And they were fighting so much कि एक दूसरे का मुंह भी नहीं देखते. We don't want to, I don't, मेरे को तो देखना ही नहीं, बात ही नहीं करना है. You know, so they were like so against each other. Now, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as a guru, what he did, he told them, both of them, please come in front of me. दोनों मेरे सामने आओ. दोनों को एक दूसरे के सामने सामने बिठाया, बोला कि now you please say something good about it. के बारे में कुछ praise करो. ना ना मैं कौन नहीं करना. नहीं नहीं, you please say something positive. So he was thinking, क्या positive? इसके बाद कुछ positive है ही नहीं. There's nothing positive about this person. See, when we are angry, you know, we become illogical. When we are angry with somebody, we become illogical. We can't see their good qualities. हमको खाली वो एक ही चीज दिखता है कि ऐसा है, you are horrible, you are this, you are that. We can't see anything else. ऐसा हम लोग ऐसा बन जाते हैं, कुछ नहीं दिखता है. But when someone forces you, remove this, Baba. You are looking at only the, you know, एक बड़े white paper पे अगर काला छींटा लग गया तो हमको खाली काला छींटा दिखता है, पूरा सफेद पेपर नहीं दिखता है. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur forced him to please say something good about him. He said, yeah, his sadhana is quite strict actually. Okay, now you say something about him. Yeah, he does good kirtan. Okay, now you say something about him again. He cooks very nice, very nice prasad. बहुत अच्छा प्रसाद बनाते हैं. अभी तुम बोलो. उनका preaching बहुत scholarly है, बहुत अच्छा lecture देते हैं. So after 5 minutes, no, this went on for 4-5 minutes, where they are just praising each other. After some time, they realized कि कितने मूर्ख हैं, what fools we are. This person is such an embodiment of wonderful qualities. Just because of one thing over which I have got into a fight with this person, I am now blaspheming this person, and I am not even going to see his face. His good qualities. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he forced them. This is what Lord is saying here. That same mouth that once blasphemed Vaishnavas should now sing their praises. Nothing else will help you. So like this beautiful example, you know, is given by the Acharyas in this context of this pastime. Because what has happened? The devatas and the priests who have all assembled over there in front of Brahma ji, they're all afraid कि भाई हमने भी blaspheme किया है, अब क्या करें? So therefore, what does Brahma tell them? What Paramarshi gives them? Let us go and surrender to Lord Shiva and let us sing his praises. And he will very quickly be pleased and he will forgive us. So now they go towards Kailash. So now this description is given of this. How many of you have read this chapter? Anyone has read this chapter? Okay, quickly I'll just go through it. It is worth reading. मतलब किस तरह का description दिया गया है. We'll see what we learn from it also. One second. Yeah. Okay. So I'll not go through all of it, but at least the main ones I'll give. Okay. After instructing all the demigods, the Pitas, and the lords of the living entities, Lord Brahma took them with him and left for the abode of Lord Shiva, known as the Kailash hill. The abode of Kailash is full of different herbs and vegetables and is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. The residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there are other human beings who are known as Kinnaras and Gandharvas and are accompanied by their beautiful wives who are known as Apsaras or angels. Kailash is full of mountains filled with all kinds of valuable jewels and minerals and surrounded by all varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of the hill is nicely decorated by various types of deer. There are many waterfalls, and in the mountains there are many beautiful caves with the very beautiful vibes of the mystics are found. On Kailash hill, there is always the rhythmical sound of the peacock's sweet vibrations and the bees humming. Cuckoos are always singing. अभी शुरू हो गया, आपने notice किया? अभी notice किया? हमारे यहाँ पे in my building ना, my building के सामने अभी एक दो पेड़ अभी भी बचे हैं. Somehow, you know, the BMC has still not broken those trees. They're still there. तो वो पेड़ में हम लोग को बराबर मार्च महीने में मिड मार्च के बाद चालू हो जाते हैं. कुक्कू आके उधर स्वीट गाना गाते हैं. अभी तक है वो कुक्कू, आता है हर टाइम, हर साल आता है. So we know that now the season has changed. So cuckoos are always singing and other birds whisper amongst themselves. So now that full description, it said the whole of Kailash hill is decorated with various kind of trees of which the various names may be mentioned. मतलब बहुत हैं, but थोड़े mention कर लेता हूँ. Mandara, Parijata, Sarala, Tamala, Tala, Kovidara. Many examples are given. There are other trees which decorate the hills. There is golden lotus flower, the cinnamon tree. Cinnamon यानी दालचीनी. दालचीनी का पेड़ है वहां पे. It is also mentioned elsewhere mango का tree. ठंडी में mango tree. Mango tree is there. So Kailash Hill is also decorated with such trees as cutter, jackfruit, julara, banyan trees, plakshas, trees producing atafatida. There are trees of betel nuts, gurjapatra, blackberries, and similar other trees. There are mango trees, and so on. Big description. How many deers, animals are there? There is a lake called Alakananda in Vicham. Now, the Ganges flow through Kailash. Where does the Ganges start? From the spiritual world, coming onto the jata of Lord Shiva, and from there she flows onto the material world, right? But in that Ganges which flows from the head of Lord Shiva, that at that point is called Alakananda, and there Mother Sati has taken her bath, so that Ganges has become even more purified because of Mother Sati. So like that, all the descriptions are given. So yeah, so after all this description is given, we can understand. So we say heavenly planet, heavenly planet. What is heavenly planet? I said already ki HPCL, BPCL is like heavenly planet only. I'll not say so much about Tata Power and RCF. It is very good. It is not there. मतलब heavenly में भी एक heavenly एक अलग है. So heavenly planet का मतलब क्या? What is meaning of heavenly planet? Where the standard of living, standard of enjoyment is of such a level that you will not get that anywhere else. अभी बम्बई में रहते हो, आप कॉलोनी वाले क्यों कॉलोनी से कभी बाहर नहीं निकलते? ये मेरे को बहुत साल से ये सवाल है. Because I have been always preacher in colony circuit पहले से ही. पहले अनुशक्ति नगर, फिर HPCL, BPCL, ये कॉलोनी सर्किट में ही घूम रहा हूँ मैं. So therefore I used to always wonder कि कॉलोनी वाले कभी कॉलोनी से बाहर क्यों नहीं आते? उनको सब कुछ कॉलोनी में ही चाहिए, है कि नहीं? That is the psychology of people who stay in colony. They do not want to go out of the colony. सब्जी तरकार भी वहीं पे आए, स्पिरिचुअलिटी भी वहीं पे, हमें बाहर नहीं जाना, वो हमारे पास आए, ऐसा. So ये जो है, why? Because the outside world is so miserable. Moment they step out of the colony, HPCL कॉलोनी से पांव बाहर रखा वाशीना का, सत्यानाश. मतलब इतना इतना खराब लगता है कि मतलब बाहर ही नहीं जाऊं उससे कंफर्टेबली ही रहूं. So this experience of heavenly planet, which is described here in Kailash. Kailash is not the Kailash we see here. This Kailash is the between the material and spiritual world. Now this experience of heavenly planet kind of thing is there in material world. Even in the earth planet it is there. Like I have been very fortunate. हम लोग बहुत घूमे somehow ever since we got married. घूमे बहुत, मतलब I have been to at least maybe 50-70 cities. इंडिया अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड कहीं कहीं घूमा है. तो हम न्यूजीलैंड भी गए, कंपनी ने भेजा, खुद के खर्चे पे नहीं, कंपनी ने भेजा. So I went to New Zealand, and New Zealand is like heaven on earth. It is like a heavenly planet. If you go there, you'll see it is so clean. It is so beautiful. Switzerland, so clean, so beautiful. It is more beautiful than Switzerland. Switzerland में खाली बर्फ दिखता है. न्यूजीलैंड में सब कुछ दिखता है आपको, मतलब just so ridiculously beautiful. वहां आप अगर ड्राइव करके जाओगे, मतलब आपको हर तरफ जन्नत ही जन्नत दिख रहा है. You don't see anything else. You just see everything is so gorgeously beautiful. But even in this heavenly planet, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Right? Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that from the lowly ant to Lord Brahma, wherever you go, Punaravartino Arjuna, it is a place of misery only. You think New Zealand is so beautiful? They are miserable. They lost T20 match. इतना सब ब्यूटी होके क्या हुआ? खुश नहीं हुए, घर गए दुखी होके. Why? Because they lost the T20 match. So misery is everywhere. This is the nature of this material world. You can see. You look at a hill station. Hill station, Munnar. Anyone been to Munnar? Kerala mein Munnar. Few of us. Munnar is very beautiful हिल स्टेशन, मतलब वहां पे पूरा साल एक ऐसा फॉग जैसा रहता है, मतलब सब जगह ग्रीन ग्रीन ऐसा सुंदर, ऐसा फॉग ऐसा घूम रहे हैं, वहाँ पे टी प्लांटेशंस हैं और ये स्पाइसेस उगते हैं, मतलब एक बहुत सुंदर एक्सपीरियंस। लेकिन वहां पे मॉनसून में कोई रह ही नहीं सकता, ऐसा बारिश आता है, इट इज मिजरेबल। नाउ वी डोंट गो इन मॉनसून, वी गो एट अदर टाइम ऑफ द, वी गो इन अप्रैल, जब ये अच्छा रहता है। जो वहां पे रहने वाला आदमी है वो ऐसा सर पे हाथ पकड़ के बैठता है, कब जाए। जैसे बंबई में बारिश, यहाँ पे भी बारिश, misery is everywhere. Wherever you go, you will not see a place where there is no misery. Everywhere, suffering is around the corner. अगर आपको लगता है कि मेरे नहीं, मेरा लाइफ बहुत अच्छा है प्रभु, आप क्या बात कर रहे हैं, मेरा लाइफ तो बहुत कंफर्टेबल चल रहा है, ऐसा हमको लग सकता है। बट इन रियलिटी सफरिंग इज जस्ट अराउंड द कॉर्नर वेटिंग फॉर यू। आजा बेटा, अब आ रहा है तेरा टाइम, नहीं वो सफरिंग आपको बोल रही है, अरे आजा बेटा, आजा बेटा, अभी आपका चांस आने वाला है। और जैसे ही आप टर्न करते से खुशी खुशी गाते गाते जा रहे हो, सडनली फट करके एक लाफा पड़ जाता है। दिस इज द नेचर ऑफ द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, इट इज अ मिजरेबल। सो and interestingly in this miserable world that we live in, one can be miserable in the most comfortable place. You agree? Someone may be living in New Zealand but may be miserable. Somebody may be living in the United States of America, यूएस में रह रहे हैं, बट मिजरेबल है। पता नहीं कब हम पे एक कोई बॉम्ब गिरने वाला है, कोई भरोसा नहीं। कब नेक्स्ट 9/11 होना है, कोई भरोसा नहीं। यू कैन बी मिजरेबल। और somebody could be living in सिंधी सोसाइटी चेंबूर, यहाँ पे आए दिन कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू रहता है, हर दिन एक रास्ता तोड़ते हैं। मतलब आपको ऐसा डिसाइड करना होता है, आज ये रास्ते से जाओ, ये रास्ते से जाओ, ये लेकिन जिक्सॉ पजल है, टू सॉल्व द जिक्सॉ पजल एवरी वीक, हर हफ्ते एक नया पजल आता है। So you can be living in the most miserable place, but still you can be happy. Why? Because misery or happiness depends on our mind. You can be, if you really engage your mind, really engage your mind in bhakti. See, what do we do? हम लोग भक्ति करते भी है ना, सुपरफिशियल, ऊपर ऊपर से, हल्का हल्का, ज्यादा बहुत फाइट नहीं मारना है अपने को, हल्का हल्का, कभी कभी प्रोग्राम में आने का, अच्छा प्रसाद वसाद, लेक्चर वेक्चर, थोड़ा कीर्तन में तो मस्त, हाँ, it's a good feeling, I'm doing some pious thing, it's a good feeling, but we don't go deep. We're afraid to go deep. But when we go deep, you really take shelter of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. We take shelter of holy name. एक होता है कि टेकिंग होली नेम, टेकिंग शेल्टर ऑफ होली नेम, टू टोटली डिफरेंट। पूरा शरण में आके आप अगर भगवान का नाम लेते हैं, शरण में आके हरि कथा सुनते हैं, डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस। देन सुखे दुखे समय कृत्वा लाभो लाभा लाभो जया जयो, यू विल बी इन दैट स्टेट। सुखे दुखे, whether there is happiness, there is misery, समय कृत्वा, लाभ अलाभ, जय अजयो, whatever, whether there is profit, there is loss, there is victory, there is defeat, समय कृत्वा, कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता। I am doing my duty, I am serving, I am doing my family, towards my family I am doing my duty, towards my society I am doing my duty, towards my job I am doing my duty, towards my bhakti I am doing my duty, and very sincerely, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, कुछ भी होने दो। This Krishna's mercy coming to be very happy. ब्रह्म भूत प्रसन्नात्मा न सोचति न कांक्षति. As Krishna himself says in Gita, the one who is on that platform, na shochati. Shochati means doesn't do shok, doesn't do misery or lamentation. क्या हो गया मेरे साथ, मैं इतने साल से भक्ति कर रहा हूँ फिर भी मेरे लाइफ में इतना सब खराब हो गया। न शोचती, न कांक्षति, नॉट हैंकरिंग ऑल्सो, यार ये होता ना तो मेरा भक्ति बहुत अच्छा होता, अगर ये सेट हो जाता ना, मेरे बेटी की शादी हो जाती, मेरी बेटी की शादी होती, मेरे बेटा को करियर बन जाता, मेरा करियर बन। नो कंडीशंस, नो हैंकरिंग, happy, whatever you give my Lord, I'm happily accepting. So if we are in that kind of consciousness, we will always be very happy, very peaceful. Therefore the way to get to that point, मन, अपना मन को नियंत्रित करने का तरीका क्या है? मनस्त्रायते इति मंत्र। So the mantra that we chant to get control over our mind, to connect with the Lord who is present in the holy name, we chant this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So this, the demigods, while they are passing through, and it's like वो फ्लाइट लैंड हो रहा है कैलाश में तभी हमको दोनों तरफ ये सब इतने सुंदर नजारे दिख रहे हैं. नजारे are there on both sides. It is described that it was a beautiful, very agitating kind of environment. इतना ब्यूटी देख के ना कोई भी agitate, the senses get agitated. But when they reach there finally, they see a banyan tree. That banyan tree is hundreds of miles tall and hundreds of miles broad. Hundreds. Okay. So you say, "Ye kaise possible hai?" Bilkul possible hai. Where the Lord is there, anything is possible. So that banyan tree was so huge. By its shade, it had created a very cooling environment. The whole environment was very cool. And interestingly, though there was such a big banyan tree, there were no birds. There were no birds on that tree. Normally birds रहते तो बहुत चू 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 चालू रहता ना. शाम के टाइम तो मतलब भयंकर. You should see. If you ever seen a big banyan tree, शाम को उसके पास जाके बैठो, there are hundreds of birds flying in, flying out, चू 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 चालू रहता है. Absolutely silent, just conducive to meditation. Over there, they see Lord Shiva is sitting under that tree, surrounded by the four Kumaras. Four Kumaras, if you remember, they came from Brahma's body. He asked them to procreate. They said, "We will not procreate. We don't want to be entangled in material world. हमको तो next week brahmachari रहना है जिंदगी भर." So he is surrounded by four renunciates, and on the other side there is Kuvera sitting. Kuvera कौन है? He is the treasurer of the demigods, मतलब full opulence. तो एक तरफ वैराग्य, एक तरफ full opulence, दोनों हैं. But Lord Shiva is sitting on a deer skin. He has given up all anger, and he is speaking to Narada about the absolute, and other sages who are sitting there, about the absolute truth. So if you see Lord Shiva, one may say that हम लोग का कैसा रहता है, people like us, हम जैसे जो पतित जीव जो बोलते हैं ना, पतित जीव हम जैसे जो होते हैं, हम लोग अगर किसी पे गुस्सा हो गए, we become angry with somebody, what do we think? We think of revenge. We think of revenge. Now even after revenge is मिल गया revenge, फिर भी हमारा मन शांत नहीं होता. ऐसा किया उसने, he deserved it, ऐसा करना चाहिए था, और ज्यादा करना चाहिए था. Human beings in this world have become so horrible now because of the influence of Kali, that we are always looking for, something to punish others, to make others suffer. But over here you see a pure devotee like Lord Shiva, even though he is heavily blasphemed, he didn't stop his service. He didn't stop his sadhana. He's sitting peacefully under that banyan tree and he is preaching to Narad Muni and others. So lesson to be learned for all of us. हमें क्या सीखना है इसमें से कि हमें कहीं कोई भी someone does blasphemous, हमको किसी ने अपराध किया, कुछ किसी ने भला बुरा बोला, हमारे साथ कुछ इंसल्ट किया, कुछ भी किया, whatever somebody has done, we shouldn't bear any grudge in our mind. सामने वाला कुछ भी करे, करने दो, that's okay. We should not bear grudge in our hearts towards them. We should always be very peaceful. Because as Brahma explains later, which we will discuss next time, Brahma explains that the people who have committed this aparadh, anyway karma will act on them. उनको लाफा मिलने ही वाला है. तो आपको अलग से कुछ करने का कोई जरूरत नहीं है. No need. In fact, when we become vengeful, and he tells, Brahma tells Lord Shiva that not expected from personality like you, this kind of anger. आपसे ये उम्मीद नहीं थी, थोड़ा हल्का सा बोलते हो शिव जी को. So we'll discuss that next time. So if someone says something to us, someone does something to hurt us, someone offends us, someone insults us, someone cheats us, someone does something nasty towards us, we should not bear ill thoughts in our mind. Because if we do that, what will happen? we will start offending. मन में विष आ गया तो आप उनको अभी ऑफेंड करना चालू करोगे, तो फिर दोनों तरफ से आग लग गई ना. हाउ आर यू इन एनी वे बेटर? We as devotees or aspiring devotees should be very careful. These stories from Srimad Bhagavatam are not just some story or क्या entertaining यार मजा आ गया, नहीं. You have to learn from these stories. What are the lessons that the acharyas are giving in the purports? How it applies to my life? If someone insults you, let it pass. Let it pass. Don't take offense. Don't say कि नहीं मैं तो अभी भक्ति छोड़ रहा हूँ, मेरा कोई वैल्यू नहीं है इस कम्युनिटी में, मेरा कुछ ये नहीं. No. Understand that this is a test that Krishna is taking of you. There is no point in taking it personally. Just move on. I'll end with that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. So any questions, comments before we do Kirtan? Anybody has anything you'd like to add? Any questions or comments? Yes, Madhuri. So that is like Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan is there. That way there is a material world में there is a expansion of that Vrindavan over here. वैसे ही वो कैलाश का इधर एक expansion है. But as we have most mountaineers have seen, nobody is able to really capture that. Everest वगैरह चढ़ जाते हैं, वो कैलाश नहीं चढ़ पाते. It's not accessible. Like Hare Krishna. Yes, bro. Yes. 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 So, with all those what is the hack? You know, बोलते ना, there was one mother. Hare Krishna. There was one mother. उसका बेटा बहुत स्वीट्स खाता था, बहुत ज्यादा. So his question is that ये सब सुन के अच्छा लगा, लेकिन जब एंगर आता है तब सब कंट्रोल चला जाता है. We forget everything. Very difficult. What's the hack to solve this? I was telling that there was one mother who had a son जो बहुत मिठाई खाता, बहुत ज्यादा, अति. So उसने एक साधु के पास उसको लेके गई, लेकिन तो साधु कि आप ही इसको सुधारो, आपके पास रखो थोड़ा दिन, थोड़ा सुधारो, बहुत स्वीट खाता है, बहुत ज्यादा स्वीट खाता है. तो साधु ने उसको क्या बोला मदर को, आप एक काम करो, 1 महीने बाद उसको लेके आओ. क्यों? नहीं बस 1 महीने बाद लेके आओ. 1 महीने बाद लेके आता है, फिर उसको रखता है, फिर वो थोड़ा टाइम में बेटे का स्वीट थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. तो उसको आके पूछते क्या क्या जादू किया आपने? भाई यू सेड आफ्टर 1 month. He said when you approached me, even I was eating too much sweets. तो मैं किस मुंह से उसको बोलूं कि तू स्वीट मत खा. So but for your question कि एंगर को कैसे कंट्रोल किया जाए, वो मैं ही सीख रहा हूँ, मुझे भी नहीं पता. But yeah, the reality is when we are struck by anger, right? When we are struck by anger, typically, our lower nature tends to respond. If we have a very inflated ego about ourselves, we think we're very great. We think, I'm in a superior position to you. How dare you say something like this? वो immediately वो ego बाहर आ जाता है. So first thing we can do is work on ourselves. We keep hearing. See, ऐसा कथा सुनने से बार बार सुनने से हमको समझ में आता है कि बाबा, we are nobody. We are just spirit soul among trillions of spirit souls in this world. Nobody. Just we are fortunate we have got connected to Vaishnava. So keep hearing, keep chanting. When we keep chanting, slowly our lower nature पे control थोड़ा सा काबू आ जाता है. And when the anger का moment comes, पहला क्या होता है, एक ऐसा immediately मेरे को तो literally यहाँ पे back of my head ऐसा वो blood boil होने लगता है. Actually, physical thing. I can feel my blood, rolling over here. तो गोल गोल घूम रहा है, eddy current चालू हो जाता है. So what I try to do is take a breath. Just take a breath for a second. and at least let my anger manifest in a calm way. Let it not come as a blow up. No? So at least I have come from that point where my anger has come from. My wife is not here, so I can say this. She'll say, what nonsense, your anger is still like that only. But yeah, at least to some extent now I'm able to control my anger. It's a long journey, it takes time. But if you are conscious that this is a problem, like anarthas, no, it is one of the anarthas. If I know I have this anartha, I should at least not feed it. I know I am a lusty person. I should not feed that lust. I know I am a greedy person. I should not feed that greed. Same, if you know we are an angry person, we should not feed it. We should somehow keep on associating with peaceful people, associate with Hari Katha, associate with Holy Name. See, anger is mode of passion and ignorance. It starts from mode of passion, goes to mode of ignorance. But bhakti is sattva gun and above. So more time we spend in sattva gun, andar sattva gun घुस जाता है. And because of that sattva gun, we have the ability now to say no to anger, to say no to lust, to say no to greed. Maybe earlier, 10 out of 10 times you would be angry and you blow up. Now, maybe 2 out of 10 times you'll blow up. Have you improved? Yes, you have. You still have that. So there's 2 out of 10 times is happening. It's a good thing because it tells you that I have still a long way to go. तो अपना उस पे भी देखो क्या प्रोग्रेस किया मैंने. Somehow Krishna forces us to see what are our shortcomings and correct. Does that answer? It's a tough one. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gurudev ki jai. Do kirtan for a few minutes. You want to share something? Yes, please. Mike, you want the mic? जोर से. Yeah, root cause analysis. Engineer talk, root cause analysis. If you analyze actually, why did I get angry? Mostly you will see it is one of these things. Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, false ego. Our false ego, where we think we are something very great. How dare this person not recognize मैं कितना महान हूँ, तुमको मालूम नहीं था, फिर भी तुम ऐसा बोल दे. We'll recognize mostly it is something that I have an inflated way of myself. Therefore, I am correcting and I am shouting. Yes, Modi. Chalo. Yeah. Yeah, so journaling is another powerful means. There's one thing I'll just share and I'll end with this. Sorry, for lamba ho gaya. But my father had taught me something. I think I've shared it before also, but I'll share it again. That he said, husband and wife में तो क्लेश होते रहता है, झगड़ा होते रहता है. All the husbands in the room are looking at their wives, all the wives in the room are looking at their husband. Say, बेटा कुछ सीखा इसमें से, like that. So my father had told me that, see, us, my wife and me, it was a love marriage. So love marriage में हम लोग सोचते कि everything will be hunky dory, everything will be very nice. But my father told me on the day we got married, he gave few instructions. So one of them he said that when two people of very different nature, of very different upbringing, come together under one roof, there will be friction. He said, however much you love each other, there will be friction. Because abhi tak you're only showing your best side to each other before you got married. After you get married, अभी तो हो गया, we hata types. So we become very careless after. Till then we're careful, but then we become careless. So he said, you'll start, you'll stop showing your best side to each other. Friction will be there. He said, fights will happen. Jhagda hoga, anger will be there, ego will be there, fights will happen. But he said something, he said, whatever the fight may be, whatever the fight may be, ये सब लोग सुनो, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. झगड़ा कोई भी कारण से हो, किसी की भी वजह से हो, रात को सोने के पहले, बिफोर यू स्लीप, होल्ड हर हैंड एंड से सॉरी, से सॉरी, आई एम सॉरी. अच्छा, बट मेरी गलती नहीं है तो भी मैं सॉरी. बोला हाँ तो भी सॉरी. हाँ, ऐसा कैसा है, कुछ लॉजिक नहीं लग रहा है इसमें. मेरी गलती है तो मैं क्यों सॉरी बोलूं? फिर उसका और पाला और पावरफुल हो जाएगा. He said, very nice words of wisdom. He said, you think for yourself, if you remain angry and you sleep in the night without resolving that, next day क्या होगा? Next day cold war चालू हो जाता है. जो hot war होता है ना, वो फटाफट खत्म हो जाता है. You run out of things to say very quickly. But cold war can go on for months. महीने महीने चल सकता है, and that destroys the relationship. So he said, don't allow it to go there. तभी के तभी जो गुस्सा आया है उसको थूक दो. And I'll add one more thing to this, that we need to decide what is more important to us. That relationship which brought us together, which has, which will be, that person is going to be with me for next 30 years. 30 साल हो गए हमारे में, almost 29 years in this December. इतने साल अगर रहने वाला वो रिलेशनशिप इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये चिरकुट बात जिसके ऊपर तुम लोगों का झगड़ा हो गया, व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट? यू हैव टू डिसाइड. आई फाउंड दैट वेरी पावरफुल. सो एंगर विल ऑलवेज बी देयर, फ्रिक्शन विल बी देयर, फाइट्स विल बी देयर, बट एज हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ, at least one person has to be the adult. One person has to be the adult and say sorry and end it. ये पे खत्म करो. हरे कृष्णा. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त.